parable of the Pharisee and the tax collector. So to understand this, you need to know a little backstory on who the Pharisees are. So these are the Jewish leaders, and they prided themselves on how well they followed Jewish law. Law that was kind of a lot of made-up rules just so they could follow them and feel right with God. And they had themselves and the people convinced that doing these religious things and doing good things would made them right with God. So in response to this, Jesus told the parable of the Pharisee and the tax collector. So he tells that a Pharisee and a tax collector both go up to the temple to pray. And that the Pharisee prays kind of like, Lord, thank you for making me so awesome. And I do so many wonderful things. And thank you for not making me like this sinful tax collector. The tax collector, on the other hand, won't even raise his face to heaven. Instead, he beats his breast and says, Lord, please forgive me, a sinner. And Jesus teaches that it was the tax collector and not the Pharisee who went down from the temple right with God. So when the Pharisee prayed, he thanked God for how awesome he was, and really showed that he had an unrepentant heart, that he was not aware of his sin nature that he had because he was human. And we know this because Jesus said that he was not righteous when he came down from the temple that day. And on the other hand, the tax collector beat his breast. So this was a very, very shameful act to beat your breast. It's something men never did at the time. Really, only women did it. And it was just a sign of very great shame. And it showed that the tax collector had a truly repentant heart, and that he really knew who he was, and that he could really appreciate what God did for him. This would have been very shocking for the people at the time to hear, because they believed that the Pharisees did all these good things and that they were right with God. So the purpose of the parable is that no amount of religious activity, no following rules, nothing like that will make you good enough to be right with God. Instead, only the humble submission and acceptance of Christ. Now you know it. Go live it.